Identifying.
The king of cakes. Chopper for the win.
G'day guys, welcome back to Cakes by Chopper. Today I'm going to show you how I line my cake trays. Now, some of you already know this, but this is a baking tray that I bought from Coles, and the majority of the cakes on my channel all come from this. Hence the templates, they're all the same size as an A4 piece of paper, and that's why it works so universally for you guys. What I do is measure out just a little bit over the length of the tray, tear that off, and this step is very important. First, to get a nice straight edge, I fold it up about an inch on the end and make sure that it's perfectly lined up just here. So that gives me a nice straight edge there. Then again, another inch up this side, keeping in line with that corner. And that gives me the perfect right angle. Then what I do is I place it in the baking tray or the cake pan, right into the corner, and then I just use my fingernail, tuck it in there to get where the measurement is. And I go along that side and tuck where the measurement is too. So this should work for you with your pans. You've got to make sure they've got a nice straight edge though, this will really help. Now that I've measured that off, I know that I can go to here and fold up, keeping it perfectly straight along that line. Very important. Go back over here, lining it up once again, just here, make sure it's perfectly straight. And there you have the inner shape of your tin. And that will sit in perfectly. But how does that line your cake pan? It doesn't, not quite yet. The last thing is you go in, and from this inner corner, you cut diagonally on all four corners. Do that without blocking it. There, one quick snip in, right to the corner. And then when you place this in your baking pan or your cake tray, you literally bend that corner around with that one, and it makes that perfect edge. So if I pop this in the tray, it automatically goes down, but you need to adjust these side pieces. One in front, one behind, one in front, one behind. Same process, all four corners. And there you have your perfectly lined baking tray. And this makes it so much easier and a lot less mess for when you're cooking a cake. As you can see, it comes off easily, gives you a nice smooth edge, and you can use this 2 or 3 times. But there you go, that's how I line my square tins. But I know what you're saying. You're saying, Chopper, what about the round tins? Well, I have you covered there too. So what I do is I take the baking paper, wrap it around the tin until I know I've got the entire circumference. Yeah, that should be good. You gotta be careful not to underestimate that. It's always good to go over a little bit because you can trim that off, but you can't actually stick more on. So what I do here is I fold up probably about, I'd say, 1/2 inch. This just makes it a lot easier in the end. And then, depending on how deep you want your cake pan, I'm just going to eyeball it, and I'll go along keep this because you can always use these for the rings, which I'll show you in a minute. But with this edge, this lining around the side, what you need to do is put it on the edge of the counter, keep your hand there, and pull down. This rounds it out and makes it not so rigid. So as you can see, it's already got a bit of a curve to it. And you can tuck that in if you like. But with that smaller edge, what you need to do is open it out. And trust me, this is the trickiest part. Get the scissors, go along and just snip it all the way along. So you're basically just putting these little tabs If you don't cut up to the line, it's actually going to be really hard to go around the edge of the tin. And you don't want to make them too big either, because if you make them too big, it really affects the way it curves. So I'd say about a 1/2 inch all the way along. Now moving on to creating the base, what I do is with my cake tins, most of the bottoms just pop out like this, so I will trace it as close as you can. This is an edible marker. I wouldn't suggest using a permanent marker as it's not food safe. I always cut on the inside of the line. So if I show you, you can see the line pretty well. I'll start and go on the inside. And as you can see, I'm not being too fussy. This is just giving me a general indication where the circle should be. I'm not being too precise. As you can see, it's a bit rough. Just excuse that cutting noise, it's a bit annoying, isn't it? Little pieces facing inward, you're going to put it around your cake tin, and they sit flat on the bottom. Just give them a little push there. And then you place the circle on the center, and then go around the edge, and this will push it out perfectly to the edge of your cake tin. If it needs a little encouragement, feel free to do so. And then you have a perfectly lined cake tin. And there you go, guys. There's my 2 tips for lining a square or rectangle cake tray or a round cake tin. Hope you guys enjoy it. If you want to see more tips, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next video.